It is Ebro, Laura, and Rosenberg. Today's guest, Amber Ruffin. Give it up one more time. Back on the program. Amber, question. This is the big question now after a big return to our program. Are you a friend of the show? An official FOT, friend of the show.
Am I a friend of Ebro in the morning? Well, I
That's
mean,
right.
that's kind of like something you have to earn. I don't think you can just declare yourself a friend of the show,
Well,
right?
I want you to know that I consider you a friend of the show. I mean, you're back on the show now.
Once
Good.
we can't get a hold of you and you stop returning emails and you get too big for us, then it's when we're like, oh, she used to
She's
be
not a friend anymore.
She was a friend of the show.
Yeah. If I don't return your email, something has gone wrong because I'm forever at this computer.
How's the show going? How things on Peacock? Talk to us.
This is what's happening. The show is very fun. We got all of our writers. They come into town sometimes because a lot of them live in LA. And so when they come and visit, it's the freaking best. Still writing on set, and that's very fun. Finished writing a musical for Broadway, and that
Amazing.
Wow.
yeah. So we're done with that, and so now I can finally breathe. So I'm just freaking hitting up the Cheesecake Factory like a little fiend, and that's how
As you
I'm
should.
spending my time.
Can you tell us anything about the about what you wrote for Broadway, or is that all very under wraps?
No, the musical is a musical version of the very old movie, Some Like It Hot. And it reimagines it, but it's still set, in Prohibition. And it is friggin' adorable. And you're going to see it and lose it. It's very good. It's very good. If I do say so myself.
And when are we talking about it being on Broadway?
It will come to Broadway in the fall.
Wow.
Oh, this year. How exciting.
Yeah,
Now,
I'm pretty excited.
can you? I guess it'd be giving it away if you gave us any intel into Amber Ruffin's lens into Some Like It Hot. How did you?
I made Sugar a black lady. That's what I did.
Okay.
I made the main lady black.
There you go.
I mean, that's my stance.
We want Amber Ruffin to write a Broadway play. We're gonna take a classic film that were there any black people in the original? No, I don't think so.
Nope.
Yep. And so absolutely Amber Ruffin was gonna make sure there was a black folk in this one and the focal point of it. Is this your first time writing a musical?
I've written several musicals. Now, what are we talking? Like a musical that more than 25 people saw?
Oh, no. It could have been just you in your bedroom, but you know what I'm saying? I didn't know that you were, writing musicals. That's incredible.
Oh yeah, I've written a couple of musicals. I love it. And I also used to improvise musical shows. The height of being a nerd. So it was only a matter of time. I can't believe that I got to write something that is going on Broadway though. That blows
It's
my
incredible.
mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you're definitely, over the, hopefully people are seeing your magic. The Amber Ruffin show, obviously what you do with Seth, but then just some of the things that you've done that have gone viral over the last several years. And then now this, I think the next decade for you is just so, it's going to be magical. Hopefully you're feeling the love.
Oh my gosh, from your lips to God's ears. I hope so. But also like I don't like stay wanting stuff. I just am like, okay, this has been very cool. I hope the next thing is very cool because I'm going to stay open. Because I would have never thought I would end up writing on a late night show and then being on it and then getting my own and then writing a New York Times bestseller, writing a Broadway musical and stuff. I just don't say nothing and I just let the life happen to me. Because
and we can tell you're rich. We can tell you're getting money too. You have stairs. You have stairs in your house.
This house is.
I noticed that too.
Freaking, it's fantastic. It's a lovely place to live.
It's a lovely place.
It's fantastic.
Look at that kitchen.
Oh, wow.
This house is nuts. I think people have children and they love them real bad. They have like dogs and stuff. They love him so bad. It's me in this house. Every time every time it gets brought up, I go, "You're gonna get invited to my house. You're gonna freaking lose it."
Love
It's
it.
so cool. It's cool, man. Cool.
I still think
What-
Ebro's theory that having steps equals rich is not accurate, but in this case, it may be true.
Amber, let's talk about it. When you was a kid, if a family had steps in their house, they was rich.
Blew my mind. My little neighbor had steps, and I would be
See?
like, "You guys live in a mansion." It was the friggin' raggediest house you've ever seen. I was like, upstairs? Whoa.
Now, Amber, I know you felt passionately about the a-hole heckler of Naomi Osaka. Take us through your thought process when you watched that play out a couple of weeks ago.
I was very mad, but I mean, it's because I am becoming an old black lady. And that makes you, it activates this thing in you, and you get severely protective over children you have never met. And then it activated that. And I was like, I'll find you and kill you. I mean, to make this child cry when she has been very public and was like, I've been struggling with my mental health and I'm working hard to take care of myself, took a break. And then to come back to this person heckling her, oh my gosh! Oh, thank the Lord I wasn't there. That's what I have to say.
Well, and she pointed out how triggering it was, the location, right? Like she's at the facility where we saw Venus, specifically Serena, be
Yep.
booed by that audience.
Yeah,
what was that?
absolutely.
15, 20 years? It was about 15
Right.
years ago, probably.
That's right. Which sister got heckled? Serena, right?
I think it was
I think
Serena
that's
was
right.
playing for the championship. Venus was in the crowd. Her dad got booed, and they were using racial slurs at her dad while her dad and Venus walked through the crowd. Serena
Yeah.
ends up winning, and then they booed her. And she raised, I remember the video, she was raising her hand in the air, like waving to the audience as they booed her for no other reason than them being young and black and competitive, I guess.
What happened was Venus had hurt her knee, I think, and then
Yep.
she just minutes before couldn't she couldn't play the championship game. So her dad pulled her, and they thought, oh, the dad decides which one of the sisters wins and loses, and they never like a bunch of freaking idiots. Well, who would do that? But then also, if he did it, so what? You know what I mean? If that was what he chose to do, eat dirt. It's so hard not to cuss.
It's so crazy too.
Being
Like
on the show, I don't realize how much I cuss. My goodness, it's bad. Anyway, now's the time when you're talking about people cussing out Venus and Serena. That's a pretty good time. Also, then did you see Jane Campion at the
yes.
At the Critics' Choice Awards?
Critics, you were there. Were you there in the room when this happened? When she tried to compare her struggle as being a director in film to what Serena and Venus go through as competitors in their sport?
I was upstairs getting a vodka Sprite. And I missed it.
Sprite. But you heard about it immediately after.
I did, and I couldn't freaking believe it. And I watched it on my phone. It was like, this lady is nuts. And then the whole place was like, yeah, being Venus and Serena isn't as tough as having to deal with men. Like they don't also have to deal with men. So men don't exist when you're Venus and Serena. But when you're making a movie, they do. Girl, that made me so mad. It made me so mad.
Well, and surprisingly, it looked like Serena and Venus in the room were trying to be good sports about it. I mean, they weren't. They didn't look upset about the statement. They clapped their hands and kind of kept it moving and were classy about it as usual.
Yeah, they got no choice but to be classy. Also, they probably don't care compared to all the things they've heard. That's nothing, I'm sure.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's still meant to be a compliment. It's just a poorly put together comparison.
Right.
But based on what they have to deal with, that wasn't an insult to them. That was like, that's an attempt at being nice.
Save it. She can save it.
I don't understand. Here's what I don't
Go ahead,
understand.
Rosenberg. Go ahead.
I just don't understand how someone could show up to a tennis event. If you've ever been to a tennis match, how crazy you'd have to be yelling in a quiet spot it's so wildly inappropriate. Not only being nasty intentionally to someone who you know has struggled with this, but you're also a crazy person socially. Like you're a psychopath.
Yeah, absolutely. To get there and then disturb the whole thing. And also like it's very clearly racially motivated. It is so clear. I think it's that exact line where a lot of times white people can't see it, but the rest of us can. You know, when it's stuff like that, you're like, well, picture her as a tiny white blonde child. Ain't nobody saying nothing. You know what I mean? Oh gosh, it makes me
people would likely be on their best behavior if it was a white person. They would not be screaming, "You suck."
Yeah. Yeah.
Unless there was, and I'm, by the way, I'm stretching here just for the sake of us having the discussion. Anybody that wants to debate it, unless there was something literally controversial taking place.
Yeah.
Right. Maybe.
You know what I mean?
And
like
even,
it was a controversial moment in a competition. People were picking sides, choosing teams, and somebody yelled, "You suck" at the opposing team or opposing individual that they were rooting against. Yeah. This is a tennis match between two women, and there definitely wasn't anything divisive taking place. It was just a tennis match.
Yeah. It's just a tennis
And I think Naomi lost also.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that she was already struggling when it happened.
Yes. And then here comes this woman shouting, "You suck." Oh my gosh. Oh, to be there. Oh my God. It makes me so, I can't describe to you the fresh anger.
So I think you tapped into something interesting though, about it being the exact point of where a lot of white people aren't able to sense the racial issue because they can present an argument of like, well, that could happen to anyone, and heckling's a part of sport, and all of these things that are somewhat plausible, but you're just not seeing, you're not being honest and realistic about where we are, what country this is, and these events that have happened historically. Literally, in this case, at the same place, two tennis players who were black 15 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, it is not, I think a lot of times white people don't realize it's not up to them to say what's racist. You drop ball a billion times. You can go ahead and let that go.
Opportunity, you missed that opportunity.
Yeah, you're no longer an authority on that. It's just up to us. The best you can do is look to us and go, "Was it?" And then when we go, "Yeah," you can go, "Yeah." That's it. That's the only play you have. You're bad at detecting when it is when things are racially motivated and when they aren't, and that's fine.
Some people have bad gaydar. Some people can't tell when something's racist. They're called white people for the most part.
Yeah. And it's fine. Good. You should be bad at that. I wish I was bad at it, but I can see that stuff coming a mile away. So we don't. It's luxurious. Like when girls can tell a guy's gonna hit on them, like that. Like when girls can tell a guy's a creep, like that. You can tell.
Right.
My sister Lacey lives in Omaha, Nebraska, and she can, with hilarious accuracy, can tell not only when someone's going to say something racist, but the type of racist thing it's going to be.
She's home. Wow. She's really finely tuned her skills.
I mean, she lives in Omaha, Nebraska, so she gets plenty of practice.
Facts.
But every once in a while, she'll be like, "This person wants to touch my hair," and she can see that they're going to go for it, and they do.
God.
Wow,
it's great. It's pretty fun.
Superpower.
Yeah.
Amber Ruffin show back on Peacock, new episodes. How is the movement for White History Month going?
We near the beginning of the show did a piece about if white people want a White History Month so bad, let's do it. Let's do White History Month. Okay, well, here's the history of white people in America. If you really want to know, they did all these terrible things. But I really don't think it's a bad idea. Like we were doing it a bit tongue in cheek, but we didn't lie. Like
Right.
it wouldn't be a bad idea to learn the bad stuff. Let's shove all the bad stuff in a month. P.S. It can't fit. And then let's examine the real white history. Let's get into it.
Well, and it's not over. The book is not done, especially, as we are experiencing laws being passed where we can't even tell the truth about the impacts and the behavior. Like that's a whole month in itself.
Yeah. I mean, that is the most unsettling thing that has happened. That's not true. That's absolutely not true. It is one of the most unsettling things that have happened and that's what teachers were doing. I'm pretty old, but I can remember in school the teachers being like, slavery was bad, but they were well fed and they had free time and they were taken care of like that. Like I can remember a teacher saying that to my little brown face. So we were never that far from that, but for it to become a law is something else. It's something else.
Well, American exceptionalism and the way people are socially conditioned and programmed in the United States to gloss over our issues in an attempt that, like, I guess the idea is if we just continue to focus on a glass half full to our society, that the problems of the past that caused trauma, social issues, and everything that we see today will somehow fix themselves is the stupidest shit I've ever seen. And that we continue to perpetuate this like ignoring of the past as if we haven't had a hard time and failed miserably at moving forward. And it hasn't worked. So why are we not trying to address the past, be honest about the past, educate ourselves on the past so that we can actually come to terms with it and potentially move forward?
Well, I'll tell you why. Because when minorities become reasonable, when you see that we are not all a threat, when you see that our complaints are legitimate, when you see that, then the Republicans lose their grip they have. It activates people to be like, they're in your neighborhood and they're taking your jobs and blah, blah, blah. That activates them and it gives them that fear and hate.
That's their power base. That's their power base.
Yeah, that's the grip they have on them. And once they realize that most of what they believe about minorities is a lie, then they lose. Then Republicans lose power. The 1% loses their money. Our government gets cleaned out. So they're going to fight.
That's so real. It's so real. The way society is divided and we go at each other definitely keeps people paid and in power.
Yeah, absolutely.
Amber Ruffin, ladies and gentlemen.
This is what she does.
I mean, look, we just solved social problems right here in 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Society's fixed, courtesy of the Amber Ruffin show on Peacock.
There you go.
Just like that.
Least I can do.
They don't pay you enough. That's for damn sure. You just fixed it all. NBC, come off the bag, man. Raise the number.
Yeah.
We need another 0 on the Amber Ruffin show.
Woo. From your lips to God's ears.
Thank you, Amber.
Amber, we love seeing your smiling face.
Amber.
Thank you for everything you're doing out here, putting some perspective and laughs and everything too, man. Appreciate you.
Oh, thank you, Ebro, Laura, and Rosenberg. I love you guys so bad.
Thanks, Amber.
And we love the house.
Bye, Amber.
Have a party.
Nice stairs.
Invite us to your next party.
Okay.